Ladies and gentlemen, it's my very great privilege and pleasure now to introduce our Minister for Sport, Senator the Honourable Kate Lundy. Kate is, I can say from first-hand experience, is doing a fantastic job as Minister for Sport. She's immensely passionate about sport, and she's also particularly passionate about technology and the role that technology can play in sport, which brings in her other portfolio responsibility. She's a great example of the inspirational power of high-performance sport. She's taken up rowing, which she admits she took up on the back of seeing the Awesome Foursome and their achievements. So it's a great example, great reminder of what it's all about today. So with that, Senator.
Thank you. Thank you very much, John. What a pleasure it is to be here today. I too would like to acknowledge the Wurundjeri people, the traditional owners and custodians on the land on which we're gathered, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. And I'd like to acknowledge all of our special guests here, but particularly John Wiley, Chair of the Sports Commission, Simon Hollingsworth, Matt Favier, board members of the Australian Sports Commission, Margie Osmond, Kyle Vanderkype, Andrew Fraser and Andrew Plimpton, who are here today, to Craig Phillips, Secretary-General of the AOC, Jason Helwig, CEO of the Australian Paralympic Committee, and Sam Coffer, President, Perry Crosswhite, CEO of the Australian Commonwealth Games Association, Nick Green, and yes, he was part of that awesome team, chef de mission, of course, for the Australian Olympic team in London, to Geoffrey Henke, Chairman of the Olympic Winter Institute of Australia, to Olympians, Paralympians and Commonwealth Games Australian representatives here today. Welcome to you. And all of you, you're all part of this amazing system of Australian sport, and I warmly welcome you to the launch today. Ladies and gentlemen, the Gillard government is a proud supporter of Australian sport, from the grassroots to the green and gold. And I'm very proud of the fact that since our election in 2007, we've allocated record funding to both participation and high-performance sport in Australia. Australia's proud history of success in sport has seen it become part of our national identity, strengthened by our multicultural character and celebrated with passion and pride. Our athletes inspire us with their successes and earn our respect with their best efforts, regardless of the outcome. And our system of Australian sport is a complex one. It has many moving parts. It involves local, state and federal governments, our schools and universities, sponsors, associations, businesses, national and state bodies, masters, juniors. But at its heart are the efforts of the volunteers who run our community clubs every day and every night of the week right around the country. As Australians, we have an appetite for sporting success, and we place enormous expectation on our athletes and teams to be at the top. But more than this, we take enormous pride in how we get there. We admire hard work, integrity, humility, dignity, and honest effort, and never forgetting where we came from. We have an international reputation for excellence in sport performance, major sporting events, and having an enviable active lifestyle. These attributes were acknowledged and discussed in the recently released Asian Century White Paper. We also have long held an impressive international reputation for our innovation and expertise across the full spectrum of high-performance sporting endeavour, from science and technology to coaching and facilities to psychology and nutrition. This great tradition of excellence and innovation, now widely emulated as you've heard, deserves not only to be recognised but nurtured, sustained and enhanced. And this is exactly what Australia's Winning Edge is designed to do. It takes the next evolutionary step to ensure that Australian taxpayers have confidence that high-performance funding is allocated to sport in the most effective and accountable manner. In this way, we will optimise our long-term investment in the AIS and our sports system generally. In 2008, the government commissioned the Crawford Report. While not met with universal praise, the report highlighted that Australian sport was at a critical junction. In responding, the government committed to developing a strategic whole-of-sport approach to sports policy, with a focus on reforming our approach to the high-performance aspects of sport. Today, we continue to implement the strategy as outlined in the Pathway to Success. Australia's Winning Edge confirms the AIS is at the heart of our high-performance programs, It's the AIS that will set clear principles for all sports to follow and establish an accountable framework and methodology for goals to be set and progress towards them measured. In addition, with recent improvements in research funding and the new innovation source, in collaboration with other research institutions, universities and the Australian Sports Technology Network, the AIS is expected to revive its capability as the premier hub of sports innovation. In this way, and by becoming the single entity responsible for high-performance funding, the AIS will be strengthened and over time become even more relevant to more sports. In many ways, a test of the success of Australia's winning edge will be in the increased demand for and increased use of the Australian Institute of Sport in Canberra. Ladies and gentlemen, investment in high-performance sport is not an automatic entitlement. Sports will be more accountable for the development and delivery of national high-performance plans. To do this effectively, high-quality governance and leadership of national sporting organisations is essential. This includes the right board structures and experience, not to mention exemplary administration. To this end, one of the first things I did as Sports Minister was to release our new governance guidelines. National sporting organisations will need to be operating with best practice, and many sports have made good progress, and I commend them, but there is always more to be done. The Australian Sports Commission will be working in another area close to my heart. The ASC is creating a unit to further improve female participation in all aspects of sport. The unit will act as a central point for national sports organisations and other stakeholder bodies to seek advice, guidance and support on the promotion of women's sport and gender equality. This will also include supporting talented women to increase their opportunities for leadership in administrative and governance roles, and importantly focus on commercialisation opportunities for the sport that women play. Ladies and gentlemen, the Australian Government currently invests about $170 million a year in high-performance sport, the highest level ever. It's my job to make sure this funding is spent wisely and effectively. We are seen as leaders in the world, but as I said at the Olympics, we can't assume that what's worked in the past will always work in the future. We've heard already this morning how competition has increased and the pressure grows. Meeting this challenge requires the continuing evolution of the Australian high-performance system. We're creating an inclusive model to foster innovation and new ideas. We have enormous intellectual firepower and great depth of knowledge in Australian sport, and now we will have the mechanisms and the model to really leverage it. This plan delivers a greater investment in our coaches and a renewed focus on finding, nurturing and delivering Australia's next top sporting talent. It will provide more opportunities for more athletes to be supported by the AIS, and it will ensure that sport at all levels continues to thrive. Successful role models in sport motivates children, motivates everybody to participate, and in this way perpetuates the cycle of one generation of sports stars, inspiring not just the next generation of sports stars, but a whole generation of active people. And in this way, getting high performance right is an essential element for deriving the greatest social and economic benefits from our public investment in sport. Sport is the strongest platform for social inclusion, and the life lessons of teamwork, respect, loyalty, punctuality, discipline that are derived, all these values are second to none when it comes to sport as the platform to deliver them. Combined with the physical and mental health benefits of sport, I've always described it as being far more than the sum of its parts. Australia's winning edge articulates a long term for the high-performance sport of this country. We will ensure we have a system that fosters innovation by harnessing the best minds in a collaborative environment and by creating the right incentives. And I know many of the best minds are here in this room. We will now be able to measure success because targets have been set. The hard work to achieve our targets now begins, and I urge you to work closely with the AIS and the Australian Sports Commission to ensure a smooth transition. I know it will take some time, but it's a journey worth being a part of. I'd like to conclude by thanking you all very much for coming along today. There's been a great deal of interest in this announcement, and you can see why. I look forward to working with you to deliver our plans for the future of high performance sport in Australia. And I'd like to particularly thank the Australian Sports Commission Board, the Chair, John Wiley, Simon Hollingsworth, the CEO of the ASC, and AIS Director Matt Favier, and the countless others who have contributed towards the winning edge. So, ladies and gentlemen, in formally launching Australia's winning edge, I commend it to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Minister. As we said at the beginning that we think this is a really exciting day for Australian sport. Sport is defined by the future as much as its past, and we want all of you to come along on the run with us. There's going to be some changes and there's lots of work to do, but I really want to reiterate the Minister's thanks and John's thanks for coming along today and being part of today's announcement. This is the end of the formalities, and now there's a chance to have a cup of tea and something to eat outside this room. Again, thank you for being part of it, and we look forward to working with you in the near future. Thank you.